When people say, oh, I want to be like you, I want to be an actor, I want to look like you, the question I always ask them is why? Like, really, why? And people, and especially America, this idea of fame, that to be famous means that you're successful, that you're happy.
When those things came, the happiness wasn't there.
I have never felt so down in my life.
I am Julianne Hough, and if I could tell my younger self something, it would be to not suppress your feelings. I grew up as a competitor, as a world champion dancer, so for me it was like push through everything, push through pain, push through fear, push through doubt. And those things got me only to a certain point until I realized that I had been suppressing a lot of emotions and didn't feel fully expressed.
And it's always sold as though everybody else's life is perfect.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And therefore you think if that, oh, you know, everyone else's life is perfect, there must be something wrong with me.
I just found out Thanksgiving of 2018 that my father had been getting a check for mental health for years, and he went to go see 23 therapists, you know, a week for a long time, and he was on 10 to 12 different medications, but none of that worked for him, so they ended up giving him if I would have known that when I was younger, when I would have my bouts with depression, or when I would have my anxiety, I would have just known how to deal with it better, you know?
I'm self-aware enough to know that what I'm giving you is bright and happy and bubbly, and that's not my only color. That I go home and sometimes don't want to get out of bed in the morning, and I have to keep a really strong exercise regimen, and I am on a medication. It's like 18 or 19. My mom sat me down and said, she's a nurse, and she said, hey, just so you know, I have anxiety and depression, so did your grandma. If you ever start to feel these feelings, let me know. There are plenty of people to talk to. There's nothing you should be ashamed about. Yeah, I had a very candid mother, and I also just think it's such a waste of time to feel ashamed about your own story.
Once my thoughts got radical and got, you know, to where you got to stop yourself and stop impulsing and say, what did you just think again? I was like, killing yourself.
It was devastating, and it lasted a lot longer because I didn't know what was going on, and I just thought it was my fault.
I struggle with depression and anxiety. I noticed the mood swings, like, you know, one day I'd be up and the next day I'd be down, feeling like I don't want to go out in public, almost agoraphobic, like, ugh, too much to deal with, feeling really awkward in my skin, just down, like Debbie Downer.
William suffered manic depression.
You know, no, I'm not always fun to be around, and that there is this thing of, yeah, the world sees one thing, and what am I like at home? Different, because I can't always be on.
Surrounded by millions who adored him, loved him, yet in the end, could not save him.
I get depressed. Take antidepressants. They're very helpful. I've taken them since I was 26 years old, various different kinds. I've switched and tried this and tried that. Sometimes they won't tell you about some awful side effect. Then you'll come back and say, why am I 60 pounds heavier? And they go, oh, well, you put on a little weight, you know? And they go, oh, well, thanks.
And you fall pretty hard. Some people fall harder than others. I fell pretty hard. And I got to a place where I didn't know whether or not I wanted to do it anymore.
And I'll never forget, it was a beautiful night in New York, and I decided to get a massage to relax because my body was so tense. But then in the middle of the massage, I got up and I couldn't breathe. And then I went outside because I was like, okay, he's outside, you know, I'm gonna breathe. And then I couldn't breathe. You know, I was like, this is ridiculous. You know, I felt like so upset because I was like, how can I not breathe even out here in this deck, like in front of water? Like, what's more breezy than... So for 1 second in my mind, I was like, because I lived in the 9th floor, it crossed my mind, you know, and I think that, you know, if I jumped, like, it would all be over. And then, sorry.
Oh, I'm always depressed, all the time. I have to constantly bring myself out of it. Like, I wake up depressed, but like, I'm like, okay, and now I know my steps, because like, you learn from real, like, now I have to go outside and be in the sun for a little bit, or go for a walk, or like, start the day this way. It's all just programming yourself to trick your brain.
I was completely suicidal, didn't want to live anymore. I thought that I was completely alone. I also realized how lucky I was and what a wonderful family, wonderful friends I had, but that didn't matter. I wanted the world to swallow me up, and nothing seemed better to me than death, which is completely insane.
I was in Berlin, and I was alone in my hotel, and I remember there was like a window right there, and I remember crying because I was thinking about how the way that I was gonna die was I was gonna do it.
First I felt full-on pain, then I went numb, and then I was sick for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks after, and I realized that it was the same pain that I felt when the person who raped me dropped me off pregnant on a corner, my parents' house, because I was vomiting and sick, because I'd been being abused. I was locked away in a studio for months.
I have some sort of anxiety, depression, something that's changed my whole life. I take antidepressant medication for it. I have tried to get off of it. My doctor always tells me not to, that it's not safe for me to.
We all carry great pains, great regrets. We've all experienced loss, great loneliness at times.
I was mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, and sexually abused. I had all of my human rights taken away, my freedom. I had no contact with the outside world. I didn't see sunlight or go outside for 11 months. To this day, I still suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder.
I have literally been at the lowest point that a human being could be. I have literally wanted to and attempted to take my own life. I wanted to not be here anymore. And I have millions of followers and I have all the streams, I got whatever. It doesn't solve your problems. Like, it does not make things go away. And if you struggle in any type of way, like, it's only going to amplify it.
You know, I was very young when the first time it hit me, and I didn't know what was happening. It feels like you're terribly homesick, but you're home. So there's no way to satiate it.
People were wondering, like, you know, like, well, how could you be sad when all of this opportunities come to you? I think Jim Carrey said it. He was like, I wish everyone in the world could experience what it's like to be rich and famous, just so you can realize that it means nothing.
I don't even have time for my love life, to see my family. I don't even have time for nothing. I'm working every single day. I'm depressed.
But I feel like the way that I have money kind of took away a lot of my happiness. I could have a good day, and you never know when somebody makes a meme out of you, clowning you, that might put you down. Or there's somebody that's talking about my family member. 2019, I felt like I was like somebody dead inside a body. Like, and I kept telling people, like, I just want to die. Like, I just wish I was dead. I want to be dead. I want to be dead. I want to be dead. I can't escape my mind.
Many people find themselves in this situation, and these kind of, my family, we've all been through a difficult time.
There's a lot of up-tempo, fun, happy moments, and yet there are those moments of, like, complete and total misery.
And then depression is different. My version of it feels very restricted, like if you're trying to put on like a latex glove that's way too small for your hand.
I did not see, at the time of being 20 years old, I didn't see it to be possible for me to make it to see my 21st birthday. It felt like impossible.
But I have depression, you know, and I didn't understand fully what was happening to me or what was going on.
I don't like going to things. My anxiety, oh my God. I can't handle it.
And I am the least happy I've ever been in my life. I'm closest to not wanting to be alive as I've ever been. And I have every single thing on paper that I wanted.
I've suffered with depression for about 5 or 6 years now. The biggest challenge is just for me getting out of bed and getting out of the house.
I don't have a mom I can call. I don't have a father I can call. I don't have my, you know what I'm saying? Like my aunt, who was the last thing that I had, is gone. Do you know what I'm saying?
Why you not go to a therapist?